right. Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. It is 101, and I do want to respect you all's time. So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Elena Williams, and I'm the owner of Skill Builders LLC. And as a Cybersecurity Awareness Month 2025 champion, we are so excited to have you with us today. Now, by attending today's session, you're showing that together we can protect our worlds one click at a time. Now, before we begin, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items. We do have our microphones and the cameras for our attendees. They're going to be muted, but if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A feature that's in Microsoft Teams to submit your questions. And if you're unable to figure out where the Q&A feature is, you can just post your question in the chat. Now we are going to be sharing the slides and resources after the session as well. So we're going to be sending out an email, and they'll also be posting some links in the chat. So if you do experience any technical difficulties, just drop us a chat, and we'll try to assist you as best as we can, or you can just try to rejoin the session. We're going to be recording the session as well, so if you're not able to stay for the entire session, which we hope you will, but if you're not able to, we understand. We are definitely going to be recording the session for you today. And if you are a social media influencer or aspiring social media influencer, we ask that you help spread the word by sharing some of the key takeaways from today's session on your social media, and then use the hashtag CyberSmart 2025. All right, and before we continue, I also want to take a moment to just kind of recognize our amazing CyberSmart 2025 sponsors. And they're the ones that are helping to make this initiative possible. First, I want to give a huge thank you to Crystal Carter. She is a powerhouse business owner behind Evolution Business Alliance and the inspiring author of the book Unbreakable: How to Heal, Rebuild, and Love Again After Divorce. All right. I also want to celebrate Love Our Youth. That's a nonprofit organization who's empowering young people through mentorship, education, and community engagement. They're actually having their ribbon cutting today, this afternoon. All right, and then I also want to thank also your hair business with Peaches. She's a personal licensed cosmetologist and a beauty partner, and I want to thank her for all of her help and support. Then also I want to thank Bishop Designate Joshua King, who's using innovation to transform ministry with the AI Church Assistant. And that's something that we're going to be talking about in another session. So make sure you stay tuned. But thank you to all of our sponsors. All right. All right, so I want to go over quickly what we're going to do for our session today. We are going to go over a quick history of cybersecurity awareness, and we have a great panel for you today and go over some of the 4 key behaviors that we want you to keep with you. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and start with the next slide. Hold on one second. We're going to go over the quick history of cybersecurity awareness. So Cybersecurity Awareness Month, that began in October 2004 as a joint effort between the Department of Homeland Security and the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Now, over the years, it has grown into a global movement, and it brings together businesses, schools, nonprofits, and everyday people like you and me. And the goal here is just going to be very simple: give everyone the tools that they need to stay safe online. All right, so now that you know where it came from, let's just kind of talk about what cybersecurity means. All right. Now, cybersecurity is just the protection of systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, attacks, or damage. Now, why does that matter? Well, because it helps prevent data breaches and financial loss. It protects critical infrastructure and builds trust with customers, partners, and communities. Now, how do we put cybersecurity into practice in our daily lives? Well, that's where we're going to bring in those 4 key behaviors. All right. So The four essential behaviors that make the difference in keeping your business safe online are going to be keeping your business software up to date. Make sure to schedule updates and don't ignore patch alerts. Also, be consistently practicing these habits that you protect not just your company, but also your customers, your community, and the critical infrastructure that we all depend on. We also encourage you to require strong passwords. Set clear password policies and use password managers wherever possible, and then require multi-factor authentication. Now, you can enable it on email, accounting, and also customer systems, and then train employees to avoid phishing. All right, now together, all four of these behaviors are going to form the foundation for you being a cyber smart entrepreneur or business owner. All right, so I did have a quick icebreaker, but I'm not sure if we're going to have time today because I want to make sure we get to our special guests. We have our panelists here. And so let me go ahead and let's introduce the panel. Okay. All right. So first, I want to, we have an amazing panelist here today, and they're going to be providing a lot of great information. The first person that we're going to be introducing is Ali Cooperwood, and he is from P3 Consulting. We also have Dr. LaShonda Bracey from HealthWorks. We have our youngest panelist here, and her name is Summer Strawberry. All right, and she has her own small business, and I'm so excited to hear from her. And then we also have a representative from T-Mobile here as well, and his name is Josh Castillo. All right, so let's give a round of applause to our panelists today. All right. There we go. Virtual applause. I love it. All right. So Crystal, actually we can actually stop sharing the screen for a moment, and let's go ahead so that way we can just see everyone's picture while we're talking, going through the discussion. All right, so thank you so much, panelists, for being here today. And we have a ton of questions, and I know you all are eager to share some of the resources and your experience and background with the audience today. But with cybersecurity, we know it can be overwhelming at times, especially for small business owners, and they're wearing many hats and things of that nature. What's one simple, actionable habit that every small business owner can start using to help strengthen their cybersecurity posture? And actually, I'm gonna ask this question to Ali first, and then if anyone else wants to answer this question, you can certainly do that as well.
Well, I wasn't ready for the first off the gate.
Oh.
I was like, I'm gonna let the doctor say something first, and then I'll come in behind her.
What? You throw me under the bus? See how y'all do me?
So actually, this is apropos because I just started this business maybe 4 months ago. Well, I've had it for a little while, but I just started picking it up. And what I've kind of found out is working. So I worked in the federal government before, in cyber shops before. And one of the things you can do is just start small. Pick one habit. Phishing, perfect example. If you notice, most of the threats to cyber are insider threats, meaning people make a mistake. They click something.
For sure.
Something looks like it's urgent. Somebody sent. Oh, the CEO sent something, and we need to respond to it now. HR sent this, and we need to respond to it now. But teaching your employees how to recognize those things, how to have what's the culture here. Hey, we're not going to send you anything that has to do with this. Talking to the employees. Hey, this is suspicious if it's this. And if they understand the culture, understanding how the agency or the business works, then they'll know that, hey, well, they would have never sent that. This looks fishy. This looks suspicious. So start with educating the people about what, and phishing would be a perfect example of where to start. So that's what I would say. Start small, pick a habit, multi-factor authentication, phishing, password management, and just really teach it as a culture through the company. And that way you can do two things. You get awareness and accountability out of those two things. If you just start, hey, here's what we're going to identify, and here's what we do from what we call cyber hygiene perspective.
For me, I would definitely say try to get individuals to build a cyber mindset, right? So cybersecurity doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. And one of the key things you want to keep in mind is that it all starts with our habits, right? So the goal is to make sure we kind of help everyone on our team think before they click. Because sometimes we're moving so fast, we don't even think about what we're clicking on, why we're clicking on it. We're just going through our daily motion. So, an actionable tip for definitely small business would be to maybe add like a 1 minute cyber awareness moment. And maybe you do that weekly and you could do it in your team meetings and then have someone share a suspicious email or a text that they received. And this keeps your security awareness alive and in the front of everyone's mind. Try not to be too technical when it comes to cyber and make it conversational. That's what I would recommend.
There we go. I like that, making it conversational, something relatable to people because they're more, once if it's relatable, they're more apt to adopt those habits. But Dr. Bracy, if you don't mind, since you were already talking, so actually, you kind of already answered this with talking about how leaders can make cybersecurity part of their culture and not just a checklist. That was one of the questions that I was going to ask you, but you kind of already talked about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask Josh, and go ahead. You can, if you want to expand on that, and then I want to pose that to Josh as well.
All right. I would definitely also say make sure that you make cybersecurity just a part of the culture when it comes, like I said, into your daily habits. Don't try not to teach it as an IT task, right? So, as leaders, we've got a model behavior that we expect our employees to follow. So for example, if you are a CEO or a small business owner, again, mention it during your team meetings when you're um, folks need to update their passwords. If you've noticed the phishing attempt, and show everybody from the top down that kind of plays a role. So again, like I said, try to start small. And then something else you could possibly do is appoint like a cyber champion in your organization, depending on how big or small your organization is.
That's a good idea. I like that. That cyber champion. All right, Josh, did you want to touch on this?
Yeah, so I mean, they've mentioned it before, right? One of the practices we have here, especially being that we work with small businesses, we are a larger business ourselves, but we have the same issues too, right? Everyone gets emails, they get phishing attempts. Learning to pause, as it was mentioned before, is important. Did you know if you hover over a link, it'll tell you the web address right in the email? So if it doesn't look like it's coming from the company and it looks suspicious, that's one way you can kind of be aware of those kinds of things. Taking that 1 second where it says, click here to verify your benefits, or click here because your logins are expiring, and then it says, xyzz.biz, and it's giving you this long URL. Those are kind of key tells, and just taking that 1 second to prevent the possible human error, because over 80% of all breaches are due to human error annually. And just being aware of that will be helpful.
Remembering all
So,
government websites say .gov and not
.gov, .edu, stuff like that is
right.
important to remember, and your own company URL. If it looks off, just keep that in mind.
actually, those were some good red flags. I was going to ask about some other common red flags that you notice in phishing emails. So you mentioned already hovering over the link and making sure that we're looking at the domain name to make sure that it's the correct domain name. Are there any other red flags that they can look for?
Yeah, I mean, even the sender or urgency, like if it's like, oh, do it now, you'll be kicked out, or, do it now, you'll lose access to your bank account. Your bank's not going to email you for that kind of urgency. Your company's not going to email it. It'll be a broad message sent to everyone, not just you. Or chances are your leader will approach you depending on the size of it. And then looking at the sender, if it says, internal password security management team, and you've never heard of that team, chances are you want to like hover over or click on the sender and it'll tell you their email address, and 9 times out of 10 it'll end at a Gmail or a live.com, and it won't be a legitimate internal email source. And then I don't want to take from everyone, but we also do banners, which is something that's free for a lot of people. You can have your internal email system tell you if the email is coming from an external source. So if it says verify now, your password's expiring, and it's not coming from inside the company, that's another red flag you want to look for.
This is Crystal. I'm going to jump in here for a minute. One of the things I notice is that sometimes we'll create clones of other companies' email addresses. So what you want to do is, if you're not sure who that email is coming from, I had this happen to me recently where someone sent me an email and it looked like it was from this person. And but then come to find out, when I looked at that company's website and looked for this person, there was a person that was similar to that, but the email was slightly different. So if you're not really sure, before you click it, research it to just double check who it's coming from, especially when it's an external source, because sometimes they will clone a person's email, but it'll be off just a little bit so it comes back to them. So if you're getting an email from somebody you've never communicated with, go to that company website and research that person and see if you can find their credentials, see if you find their email address from there to ensure it's the right person.
All right. Well, that's awesome. I want to make sure too, because we do have Summer Strawberry on the line. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, Summer Strawberry.
Okay, Summer Strawberry. I want to bring it in too from, tell us a little bit about your business, how you got started, and I want to hear from a young person's perspective, you know, you being a young entrepreneur yourself.
All right, hello everybody. I am Summer Strawberry and I'm 16 years old. I am a speaker, author, and illustrator of affirmation coloring books for girls' confidence. And I've been featured on the Kelly Clarkson Show, Good Morning America, ABC News Live, every news station in Orlando. And my mission is to, help girls build their confidence with these positive affirmations, because I was bullied and I was cyberbullied. So I know what it feels like to, have low self-esteem and confidence. So once my dad introduced me to affirmations, it allowed me to rebuild my self-confidence and, empower other girls around the world. So, I think it's really important for younger people to be very aware of their online presence and things like that. And, be aware of what they're putting out there, because social media is a part of our everyday lives now. So I think this is such a great conversation.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Summer. And so from your experience, how do you think maybe schools or other small business programs can better support youth-led startups? Because, you don't always see, our younger people starting businesses, but I love the fact that you've taken from, your experience, what could have been, a really bad thing, and turning it into something that's really positive, but you've turned it into your own business. What type of support would you like to have seen maybe from other small businesses or even mentors to help you in your journey?
Yes, that's a great question. So I believe that they should teach digital safety. There's many digital dangers out there. There's different people on the internet, and we got to be very aware of that. And then I'll also say to teach crisis management. So what to do if they are hacked, if their account is hacked. Because I remember one time when I was little, I was playing Roblox and I wanted more, Robux. That's like the currency on Roblox. So I gave someone my password and I got hacked. So that was not a great experience. So for example, that is a personal experience that I went through. But, for social media sites, for just different networking sites and different websites, we just got to really make sure that these measures are being, put in place and taught to the younger generation, because we're on social media every day and we use it all the time. So we just have to, be taught to protect ourselves.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, if you can just tell everyone how they can find out more about your business.
All right. right, so I have my social media handles under Summer Strawberry. So as you see, my name is SUMERSTRAWBREE. That is my website, so summerstrawberry.com, where you could check out more about me. And I also have my social media, so my Instagram, Facebook, my Instagram and Facebook, where I post the different things that I do. So thank you so much for, the time to be here and really to understand what I'm doing. My mission is to help girls build their confidence with affirmations, because there's different things that girls go through. And, I do this for the girls around the world, because there's a girl out there somewhere who is right now, they're in their bathroom looking at themselves in the mirror and they're contemplating suicide. And there's a girl out there somewhere right now at school who feels like that she's not good enough, and that nobody really cares about her. So that's affecting her grades. There's a girl out there right now that doesn't see beauty in herself and or in anything that she does. So she locks herself in a room and starts to cry. There's girls out there around the world that feel that way. And there's a girl out here right now that's at work who doesn't feel confident about herself or feel confident enough in herself. And as a consequence, she might get fired. So there's girls out there around the world who are dealing with these different things. They may not be vocal about it or tell anybody about it, but my mission is to help girls feel as confident as they can, love themselves, see the beauty in themselves, because it's a real mission out here. And there's different things that girls out there are going through that they're not telling everybody. So I believe it's my mission to help them out.
Well, thank you so much, Summer. Like I said, I really applaud what you're doing. And actually, you mentioned something that I want to bring up to the panelists. You mentioned something about being ready, like crisis management. And that's something that all small businesses, they have to prepare for. If you don't prepare for, things to go wrong, then, it's, things can happen. So I want to talk to the panelists to see what are some simple backup or recovery strategies that small businesses can implement without having a full IT team. We know, again, when you're a small business, we know you're wearing a ton of different hats. So what are some things that people can do to make sure that they have backup?
So for me, I make sure that, oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
For me, I make sure that I back up my systems. I try to do it monthly, and then I take that backup system and I have it in a fireproof safe. I mean, we have the cloud now. You can buy enough memory, but making sure that you're backing up your information. A great example is I recently just realized that one of my websites was down. So I think one of my team members has the backup for it. I'm waiting on her to respond, but I've literally gone to the host and cyber and my domain owners stuff, and I cannot find the backup for that website. So making sure you're not only backing up your files, you are backing up just all of your information. Make sure that becomes a habit for you.
All right, awesome.
Just to expand on that too, I'm in school for my master's in cybersecurity right now, and one thing they preach is the 3-2-1 rule. That what that means is, having 3 copies of your data: a primary copy, which is the one that's live and in use; 2 backup copies, which would ensure redundancy. So if you have like a OneDrive or a Google Drive, copy everything to that and then make a separate folder for the same thing, right?
Yep.
Don't just leave it to chance and have that one there. And then have a local copy. I know USBs are just, dead. Not everyone uses them, or external hard drives, but try to keep a local backup somewhere. So if anything else, the clouds fail you, your live file goes dead, you'll have like a USB thumb drive somewhere. I have a bag of them at my desk at all times. Like I have hundreds of USB
I have that
drives.
same bag.
and there's gigabytes upon gigabytes. I've got hard drives all around me. It's just having that and not just relying on that newer cloud technology can sometimes come in handy as well. That's all.
Yeah, I can jump in as well. So Elena, I was gonna raise objection when you said we want to hear from young people. And then I said, I'm young, but then when Summer said her age, I said, well, you're right. Let me.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, man,
Yeah,
how
I was
young
like,
is she?
oh, she's calling me old now.
But one thing I would say is that what Josh was saying about the 3-2-1 and Dr. Bracy was talking about, you know, the hygiene of it. What I also would say is organization, because if you don't know where to find things, you know, I got 100 files here and 100 different subfolders of a subfolder. I have to color them. You have to have some kind of system in place. Creating that system is going to be very helpful to you. So where is the backup? Where is the 3? Where is the 2? Where is the 1? Having them identified and the nomenclature which you and the employees know, because you might be speaking a different folder language than they are speaking.
Very true.
Having proper what they call breadcrumbs, making, okay, this folder is going to lead to this folder, but not having 10 of them, maybe having condensed. So what is your organization? You have to kind of organize in such a way how you're operating. So when something does happen, boom, I can find it right here, because nothing more frustrating than I know I've got it, but I don't know where it is. And so having that organization is really key when you're, I mean, in anything, in cyber, but especially with backups and incident response kind of basics.
All right, no, that's awesome. Yes, I've seen some file structures that would be that are really scary. And so, yes, organization is definitely important. So the next question that I want to ask you all is in terms of cyber insurance and risk readiness. Meaning, like, what are some of the minimum cybersecurity controls that a small business should have in place before applying for cyber insurance? And this can go for anyone.
Since I had to apply for cyber insurance recently, MFA, endpoint protection, backups. Those are the 3 basic ones that any insurer will look for. The reason I say that is because if you're ever doing government contracting with the DoD, you need something called CMMC. And
working on that now.
that is an arduous process, and there's tiers to it. Tier 1 is, you know, now they have a set self-attestation, but they're gonna move past that, and every government contractor doing business with the DoD will need CMMC. Look that up if you don't know what that is. It's better to start early with that process, because it's a multi-tiered, multi-year process to get to the top levels of it. But for insurance purposes, and also for that CMMC, MFA, endpoint protection, and backups.
And I would definitely say treat your cyber documentation like financial documentation or financial records. Make sure that they are clean, make sure that they are current and up to date, and make sure that they are easy to produce. Because insurers are actually going to ask for proof of it. And like Ali said, make sure you got your multi-factor authentication information, again, your backup schedule, your incident response plan, and then your endpoint protection or your antivirus information. So the best way to kind of do that is try to keep maybe a cyber readiness binder. It can be digital or it can be printed. And again, it's going to include your cybersecurity or your security policies, any vendor contacts, and any screenshots that you may need. For example, the screenshot of your multi-factor authentication dashboard. And you actually use that because it makes audits a lot easier.
Actually, that was another question I was going to bring up about audits, but was somebody, Josh, were you about to say something?
Yeah, in case anyone's aware, endpoints, some people don't call them endpoints. It might be like your computer, right? Your laptop, tablet, your smartphone. Those are known as endpoints in the industry. So having protection on those, as Dr. Bracy had mentioned, is important. So antivirus, Microsoft Defender, things like that are what they're going to look for in those certifications. And so just keep that in mind when you think about endpoints.
All right, thank you for explaining what that is, because sometimes people may not understand what some of the words or the acronyms mean, even though that wasn't an acronym. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about too was just again and how to prepare for audits and things of that nature. But like you said, Dr. Bracy, by having that binder, that's one way to make sure that you're prepared for it. But is there any other guidance that we can provide to the small businesses in terms of preparing for audits?
Um, yeah, I guess one of us could take it, right? Um, so the cybersecurity audits aren't just about catching what you're doing wrong. It's about I'm trying to say it's about proving you're doing things the right way consistently. So being consistent, having that documentation, repeatable process, and proof of good habits are really what they're going to be looking for, right? They're not going to just be like, oh, you're doing this wrong. They want to look at your compliance, making sure that if you need to be HIPAA compliant, you're HIPAA compliant, and anything else like that comes up. So just it comes back to being organized, right? Understanding the scope of your industry, the type of compliance you need, and knowing what those audits are going to look for, but keeping those good habits available to you and your staff and rewarding those who follow them.
Well, and Josh, I'm glad you said that about rewarding the staff. Sometimes I know, and we were talking about like just identifying phishing and reporting scams and things of that nature. How can we develop or help our employees or people working with us feel more comfortable with reporting things? Because sometimes it can have a negative connotation, when you're reporting different things. So, but how can we build that culture or make people feel like it's okay, to report, the different things that they find. They're not going to get in trouble, but it's actually it's helpful to identify future instances when you do report. But if someone can speak to that.
I can work with that. So I think you have to, whether it's right or wrong, right? Oh, we reported this as phishing. You were aware of it looks suspicious to you. We will celebrate that. Whether you're right or wrong in it. Now if it is wrong, we're going to train to that and say, hey, this was authentic. This wasn't. But that's training. The culture has to be that we're rewarding keeping the business safe, because that's how we are able to keep things running for us. This is what's providing us the ability to do X, Y, and Z. So this is important. And that's how I would frame it. Hey, this is praised. This is celebrated. It's not telling on anything. You saw something and you're aware, and we're praising that behavior. That's the behavior that we really want in the company. So I would, you're praising their cyber hygiene, you're praising their awareness, you're praising the skill sets they bring, that be able to bring whatever. Hey, you reported that, okay, that wasn't phishing this time. Now let me teach against it and show you, hey, this is what it does look like, but they anyway. So that's kind
So
of,
it gives it that as like a teachable moment,
yes.
Okay, so we're rewarding the behavior that we want to see. I like
Yeah.
it.
I would also say normalize conversations about cybersecurity, right? Like we all go through the motions and we do our annual cybersecurity training, but because it hasn't been changed or updated, basically everybody's just clicking through, right? So maybe as small businesses, we need to go through and make our cybersecurity trainings again, maybe a little more conversational, maybe having some of those conversations more frequently, as opposed to just doing those yearly, oh, you need to take this hour-long cybersecurity test or this threat test, and you don't even think about it anymore after that. So keeping the conversation going, I think, is important as well.
I agree. It looks like I want to just take a quick moment here. We got a question in the chat, and so I want to bring it up. It seems like we have a little bit of time. So the first question was, what is the first indicator that I might have been hacked? And then I believe there was a follow-up question with that if I am hacked, what should I do immediately?
Depending on how you were hacked, right? So if it's your email, typically someone else has received a strange email with some information indicating that you are not who everyone else knows you are. A great example is for some reason my mom's Facebook account gets hacked all the time. But people go in and send private messages and they're like, "Oh, we know good and well this is not you." So I think my Facebook page got hacked and it sent my mom a friend request, but it asked her
Yes.
questions that she knew were the wrong answers. So she answered it wrong on purpose to prove that it wasn't me. And then she called me. She's like, "Oh, your account got hacked." So that's one of the first ways that you can definitely tell. When you think about banking, when you start seeing strange transactions show up on your bank statements, or if you continuously get fraud alerts, those are one of the signs that maybe your bank account has been hacked. Those are the two that I can come up with right offhand.
One thing that's also a big indicator is if you keep getting password reset emails, like,
Oh yeah,
you
that's a
know,
big one.
reset this password, or if you get if you have a multi-factor authentication like an SMS enabled or Microsoft Authenticator, and you get those alerts like, here's a short code. 9 times out of 10, it's my wife logging into my Chipotle account, but I get it all the time. You know, she's always like, "Oh, send me the passcode." And I'm like, "All right, I know it's you because you're using my points." But you might get that from UPS, you might get that from your bank or anything like that, and you want to be aware, like, I didn't put that request in, why is it coming in, you know? Those are some of the things you should look for in terms of being hacked. And then I'll let anyone else go, or we can go into what to do, I guess, after the fact.
I did notice too, I don't know if any of you have gotten this one where it's like the toll road saying that you haven't paid a toll, and you click the link and it will either, I think, hack into your phone. So be careful of that. That's another one that just popped up that I see
I
quite
love that
frequently.
one because the fact that I know I have the Easy Pass in my
Right.
car, so
Mhm.
yeah, every time I see it come up, I'm like, yeah, okay, and I got my Easy Pass in my car, so I know you got the wrong person.
Right.
Also look for where the numbers are coming, where those types of numbers are coming from. If you don't recognize the location, where numbers and information is coming from, it's not what it is. So it's the whole thing is that you have to don't make this someone else's responsibility. You have to do your own due diligence. For small business owners, we use our computers and our phones for everything. And most of the time, we're not thinking about putting up a VPN when we're using our phones, or turning on VPN when we're on our computers. We're just on them and we're just doing what we're trying to do. So by doing that due diligence on there, Norton, whatever other software you prefer to use, we're also working turning on VPN when you're working and doing things is another way for you to do your due diligence to be able to protect yourself, and changing. I know y'all hate changing passwords. Changing passwords periodically. Um, I use an application called Dashlane. I'm not sponsoring Dashlane by any way, shape, or form, but I have too many passwords to try to remember. And then if you all try that trick of, oh, I'll just make them all the same, trust me, somebody's going to take time to figure it out. But if you're using an application like Dashlane or something that can keep your passwords secure and track them, and this also becomes a great way, like if you need to share a password with somebody, you can share it through that secure environment so you know who you've given access to it, and it's able to be tracked how often they've logged in or not. So there's a lot of things individual business owners on the back end can actually do to protect. I know Norton or whatever antivirus you use, I've been using Norton for years, so that's what I go with. But whatever you're using, put it on your phone as well as have it on your computer. Most people don't think about having some type of antivirus VPN option on your phone, but because everything in my phone is tied to my computer, is the center of my universe, I need to protect the universe. And that's my 2 cents I'm chiming in.
Thank you, Crystal. No, I also wanted to ask too about some different resources. If you all know about different resources that small businesses, where they can go to find either free resources, or are there resources that T-Mobile has to help small businesses to make sure that they are cyber safe and that they can help protect their employees and everything?
Well, I want to go
Uh,
back. Oh, sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no,
So
go ahead, Ollie.
I want to go to the 20, what happens, because I know that question got, Elena, they asked about what happens if you're hacked. Um, what I would say, and we used to do this in government, you isolate the issue. What happened? Where did it happen? And you got to isolate that. Is it an email? Is it social media? Did something get hacked with your servers? Where you got to isolate that incident, and then you want to do some due diligence. Okay, is it changing passwords? Is it notifying IT provider? Is it notifying your customers? Right. So you want to find out what happened, document, okay, what happened with, where was it, what happened, and then who do I need to contact? Do I need to disconnect a device? Do I need to change a password on this, right? What kind of hygiene is important? What kind of hygiene happens after this? And then who do I need to contact? Who was affected by it, right? So that's the things you really want to do right front in the first, I don't know, 4 hours or so, once you found out the hack happened. It was your bank account in the first 20 seconds, because I'm trying to figure out what happened. I need that money back.
Yeah.
So I had something where I was getting from LegalZoom, I was getting businesses. They would say, "Hey, congratulations on your new business." I said, "When did I start one?" And so once I got the packet in the mail, I looked through my bank account and it was $199 missing, registration fee, new agent fee. I'm like, oh, and I didn't even know it. Someone, I don't know even how they got in there, but they got through the LegalZoom and they got my card. I changed it, but when I ordered a new card, the bank sent the old vendors that had, they sent them the new card information. Some feature on your card. Here's something. I'm gonna give you this one for free. If you change your Visa card, Visa has a program in there that if you change it, it will send the new card. Hey, your vendor or your customer has changed your card, and they'll send it right to that person. And so they got me again with the same LegalZoom thing because they had used the card, and Visa, out of convenience, sent that to them again. And so they got me with another one. So it's a feature that you have to go into the bank when you go get your card change, say, hey, unclick that convenience feature there so you don't do that again. But within 24 hours, 4 hours, I would say, just isolate the issue, document it, change whatever hygiene, change the password. You might have to get something brand new. Hey, we need to contact whatever vendor we have, and then contact our customers that are affected by it, or if it's your staff that way. So I wanted to go back to that question because I know we didn't get to that. Elena.
And just to piggyback on Ollie too, best practice too in your business, have a steps, have a plan, an action plan if you're hacked. Like, what should your employee do? Where should they reference? Do you have a SharePoint page, a website, so they can follow those best practices that Ollie mentioned? That'd be key to have them prepared so that if something like that happens, they know what resources are available to them.
Speaking of resources, let me follow up. So I'm gonna pick up the baton.
You like that segue, right?
Yep, you did it. So I'm gonna carry it because I interrupted Elena the first time. So resources, there's a couple things that we use. SBA has a like a small business pamphlet is specific to cybersecurity. So you can always look on there. It's called the SBA Cybersecurity Portal. Checklist templates. There's something from NIST, NIST, and it has a small business quick start guide. It talks about cyber as well. So those are two resources. I'll put them in the chat here so you can see them. I'll put the link there.
And
Verify the link before you go there, but I'll make sure I'm gonna put them in the link there so that you can.
The other two resources that I had was the CISA Cybersecurity or Cyber Essential Starter Kit. It's a step-by-step guide to secure small business systems. And the National Cybersecurity Alliance Small Business Guide is also a checklist that you can add. And as he mentioned, the NIST framework is also another good guide. And remember that our small businesses are not too small to be hacked. We are typically the prime targets because we don't pay as much attention as some of our larger counterparts, our larger businesses. And then as small businesses, hackers know we hold valuable information as well as valuable data. So keep that in mind. And we have less defenses up.
And then a lot of those websites too, those resources that you see, they're going to give you a list of different tools you can use to be ready, right? So they're a checklist, a lot of them. So multi-factor authentication, for instance, you can use things like Microsoft Authenticator is free, Google Password Manager, Google Authenticator. There's so many out there. And then selfish plug, right? T-Mobile, we have cybersecurity products as well, where we can authenticate and secure your SIM cards. So if you click a link on your T-Mobile enabled device and it's bad, it'll automatically block connection to those sites so that nothing can get into the system. Yeah, we've come out with a lot of cybersecurity things. We've stopped hacks upon hacks this year. I think we had a total attempted hack limit, and don't quote me on this, of 2,600 attempts, and not a single one got through this year.
Oh,
So,
wow.
we're working diligently to make sure things are secure and provide that cybersecurity to our customers as well. And on the link I'm going to share, there's actually a free risk assessment where you can click it, put a group of phone numbers in, and it will send phishing or smishing attempts, because technically it's SMS, to those phone numbers and come back with a report on how many of them actually clicked it and what would have been stolen or what would have happened to the company had it been a real attack. And so the link I'm going to send will have that and just information about our cybersecurity and SASE products as well.
Oh, that is awesome. All right, I want to make sure I give everybody an opportunity, just if we go around the panel, to just give one final thought, and then we can open up the floor to some more questions if there are any other questions. So if you are an attendee and you have a burning question that you've been holding on to, we can go ahead and start posting those in the chat. But while we're giving everybody an opportunity to just leave one final thought with the audience today. And so let's start off with Summer.
So thankful to be on this panel. It was a great conversation, and I learned a lot of new things. So thank you again. And if you guys have if I'm curious. So if there's any opportunities that you guys may think I would be like a good fit in, I would love to be a part of it and share the message. But yeah, I left my email in the chat. So yeah, definitely check out everything I'm doing. Again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Summer. We appreciate you and love everything that your mission supports. So congrats to you and good luck to you. All right, Dr. Bracy.
I love how Summer incorporated Mental Health Month into cybersecurity. So that was a great tie-in. Again, Elena, thank you so much for having me today on CyberSmart 2025. It was an absolute honor to be alongside three other very knowledgeable experts and connect with some forward-thinking small businesses and leaders. One thing I would like to leave is remember that cybersecurity isn't just about technology, it's about people. It's about awareness and building everyday habits that keep our businesses and communities safe. And to remind people to catch the replay. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Ali.
All right. Again, thank you. I am honored because when Dr. Brace said cyber experts, I said, who is, it must be Josh, because definitely.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, expert. She left the third one out because it's probably me.
Just claim it.
All right, yeah. But one thing I would say is those three things we talked about, right? The MFA, and when we talk endpoint protection, then backups. Those are the three. If you don't take anything else away, I would look at those because we all talked about that at some point. And most of this is free, to be honest with you, or very minimal. You don't have to put a lot of money into this because a lot of the computer, what you have, if it comes with it, comes with some level of endpoint protection, whether that be Defender, whether that be the auto updates. There's security processor right in your computer right now. Some of it you have to buy, but I will tell you this. For those three things, what you do spend the money on, it will be worth it because your data, if it gets compromised, if it leaks, if it gets lost, will cost you so much more in the long run. So if that's what I would leave with you, please look into all three of those things. There are cost-effective ways to do all of those, but that's one thing I really want you to take away.
All right. Thank you, Ali. All right, Josh, it is now your turn.
Well, thank you, everyone. Again, this is actually the first panel I've ever been on, and I learned about it this morning. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna be on a cybersecurity panel." I was like, "All right, cool, awesome." Actually, my manager was tasked to be on it, and then he dropped it on me because I'm in school for it. He's like, "This is perfect for you. You can do it." I was like, "All right, thanks." But this was honestly, this was nice, and I'm gonna tell him I enjoyed it, and I'm also gonna tell Will, our connection, that this was fun, and I enjoy this, being able to share these tidbits, and being able to help arm small business owners, because that's our bread and butter, right? We sell to small business owners. If they don't feel comfortable with this type of technology, they're never going to come to a company like T-Mobile for anything other than cell phones, which we do so much more, right? And just, if I'm going to leave you with anything, remember, cybersecurity isn't about being perfect at everything you do with it. It's about participating and learning about the field, learning what you can do to protect yourself. We mentioned MFA, backing up files. Bringing all that together is just going to build a stronger defense and make you less afraid of those types of incidents. So just sorry if you hear my dog, he just started yelling. So building better habits before you build those policies and staying aware of everything will be key to you guys staying secure all year long. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I would like to end the session with thanking all of the panelists for joining us today. I would also like to thank our attendees for joining us today. You guys have been following us for the last, 3 weeks? This is our third session. And so we have 2 more sessions coming up. And I encourage you all to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell some old friends, to tell your cousin, your neighbors, to come out and join us for we have 2 more sessions. The next session is going to be our cybersecurity and our elderly, is so for our seniors that are online, providing them with safety habits so that way we can protect them from cyber threats as well. So make sure you bring everybody with you to the next session. We're going to post a link in the chat for the next session, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you all, and happy Cybersecurity Awareness Month from Skill Builders, LLC. Have a good day, everybody.
Awesome sauce.